Tonight, the dazzling dollar. Retailers predicting a bumper Christmas as the Aussie soars. Sex scandal allegations. Shock claims involving the AFL's Brendan Favola. And hey, it's international embarrassment. The TV skit that's caused comment around the world. Hello, I'm Kathryn Robinson. Welcome to 10's Late News. Also tonight, President Barack Obama wins the Nobel Peace Prize. And bombing the moon, slamming a probe into the lunar surface at 9,000 kilometres an hour. But first, from a record field, US President Barack Obama has tonight been awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. The announcement in Norway earlier this evening was clearly unexpected and surprised the audience.
Barack Obama for hans ekstraordinære innsats for å styrke internasjonalt diplomati.
The Nobel Committee held Obama's extraordinary diplomatic efforts and said he'd created a new climate in international politics, despite being in office for less than a year. There were a record 205 nominations for the prize, but the committee chose Obama to support what he's trying to achieve. Predictions tonight of higher taxes and another 100,000 Australians out of work. The grim forecast has been made during hearings into Canberra's stimulus funding.
A better than expected economic outlook drew a smile from the Chief of Treasury. Pity his message isn't as rosy.
The unemployment rate has not yet peaked. That is our view.
Last month's drop in unemployment to 5.7% is only a blip, according to Ken Henry. Current forecasts have the jobless rate now peaking at around 7%.
I think that's a reasonable figure for us to be talking about.
That's around 100,000 more Australians out of work, and he says a further 100,000 jobs would be risked if the government's stimulus is wound back as the opposition wants.
Those who argue for the immediate withdrawal of stimulus need to justify their positions.
Nobody is suggesting that suddenly all government spending should stop. The point is that the government should be slowing the spending and retargeting it.
The Treasury boss says the quick action saved us from recession, but he now concedes we may pay for it with higher taxes.
Either government spending will be lower than it otherwise would have been, or tax settings will be higher than they otherwise would have been.
It put the opposition into a spin.
Okay, this way or the other?
You can face the cameras.
As they said, I told you so.
Confirms the coalition's warnings about Labor's excessive spending, namely that it will have a very toxic cocktail of increased taxes and higher interest rates.
The government says the debt will be paid down as the economy recovers, and there's a natural increase in the amount of taxes collected. And the World Economic Forum reckons we're on the money, ranking Australia second in global financial centres. Brad Hodson, 10 News.
The surging Australian dollar is bringing some early festive cheer. Some of our biggest retailers say it could be our cheapest Christmas yet.
When the decorations pop up in stores, it's a sign that shoppers are preparing to splurge. And retailers say this year there's a real Christmas bonus.
And this will be the cheapest Christmas ever.
The Aussie dollar's bringing lots of cheer to consumers, with the cost of imported goods set to drop dramatically.
So you will see that retailers will start to pass on some of those savings.
Fantastic, absolutely excellent. Keep going the Aussie North.
Harvey Norman is promising huge discounts.
We're selling flat screen TVs, plasmas and LCDs up to 30% cheaper than we were a year ago.
Look, Jerry's a great salesman. He's always talking up what the bargains will be. I mean, we'll wait and see, I think, on that one.
And with petrol so cheap, the retailers have no excuse for not passing on the benefits. Compared with 12 months ago, the local currency has risen more than 30 cents, and it's set to climb closer to parity with the American dollar by year's end. Over the past year, we've seen unprecedented discounting from retailers and all sorts of clever gimmicks to win those discretionary dollars. Even though mortgage rates will be rising, retailers are hoping the cheaper cost of goods will keep cash registers ringing through Christmas. But higher interest rates will weigh on household income.
But we're not really out of the rut yet, but it's certainly looking a lot brighter now than it has for some time.
The best buys remain electrical goods, with fierce competition ensuring the savings are passed on quicker than Santa travels on Christmas Eve. Jacqueline Maddock, 10 News.
A militant shot to death in Indonesia has been linked to the Jakarta hotel bombings, which killed 3 Australians. Indonesian police raided a house on Jakarta's outskirts this afternoon. The dead man has not been named officially, but is thought to be a close associate of terrorist mastermind Norden Top. The twin suicide blasts at the JW Marriott and Ritz-Carlton hotels in July killed 9 people and injured more than 50. The controversial Hey Hey It's Saturday skit has battered our reputation overseas. TV shows in the US and UK have lashed out, damning the performance as demeaning and racist.
Americans woke up this morning to an image of Australia
Everybody, sing with me!
they didn't like.
The controversial musical skit that's sparking a worldwide firestorm.
It made Australia look like the land that time forgot.
A variety show in Australia has apologised for what critics have called a racist skit.
The controversial Hey Hey It's Saturday act was picked up by every major US network and damned as demeaning on primetime talk shows.
It's about an American family. It's not about an Aboriginal family. When the Aborigines, they don't treat them very well.
What they don't have, well, that's absolutely true, but they also...
Earning Australia the unflattering title of a racist backwater.
On a racism row and what appears to be a clash of cultures.
But touring a predominantly black school in Washington, the Deputy Prime Minister deflected any such suggestion.
Obviously, I think whatever happened was meant to be humorous and would be taken in that spirit by most Australians.
A joke it may have been, but alongside the media here, average Americans aren't laughing. In fact, they've flooded the country's oldest civil rights group with complaints.
Well, I was kind of surprised because it took me aback, because it wasn't really my perception of what I would have seen coming out of Australia.
Adding Australian humour is no defence for being socially outdated.
It's not like people down here aren't aware of the social stigma that's associated with blackface.
And if they weren't, they are now. In the United States, Emma Dallymore, 10 News.
AFL bad boy Brendan Favola is in trouble again, facing claims of sexual misconduct against a female reporter. His Brownlow night display of drunken behaviour has already earned him a $10,000 fine. Now it's being reported there was an incident between Favola and a female reporter in the women's toilets.
We've spoken to the employer of the woman concerned. We've provided support and access to counselling, that we are ready, willing and able to act.
The claims have overshadowed Favola's move from Carlton to the Brisbane Lions on the final day of Trade Week. We'll have more on that in Sports Tonight. A 7-week-old child is at the centre of another child protection scandal. Community Services removed the child from his violent, alcoholic mother, but now plans to return him, allegedly, to save money.
Jake was just 2 days old when he became the 5th child in his family to be placed in foster care. His mother drank throughout her entire pregnancy, leaving him with signs of fetal alcohol syndrome. But now that he's finally in safe hands, the child protection system that removed him wants to return him to his mother in rehab.
It'll only be not a matter of if, when. He will come back into care, he'll be more damaged.
Jake's carer Michelle is so outraged she took the unusual step of speaking out. She fears the move is about community services saving money.
You know, these kids aren't dollars and cents. Sad thing is, kids don't vote. How's she going to get up and change his nappy, feed him when she's off her face on the floor, the wine drunk?
The moment Doc starts to not back their own judgment, you have a child protection system in trouble.
Even the rehabilitation unit, Odyssey House, would prefer Jake stays where he is.
But at the end of the day, the decisions around this little boy's future will be made by experts and the Children's Court.
The New South Wales Premier's not so sure.
On the face of the material that's been provided to me, I'd take some convincing that it was in the interests of the youngster to be returned to mum.
A review of the case will take 2 weeks.
There's no future for him with the family.
Amber Muir, 10 News.
There's been an amazing result in court for Australian singer Alex Lloyd. He's been involved in a costly copyright battle after truck driver Mark O'Keefe claimed he wrote Lloyd's 2001 hit Amazing. Today, O'Keefe withdrew his claim.
Frustrating affair. I feel an incredible sense of relief and release from the weight of these false accusations.
O'Keefe had claimed he wrote the tune on a coaster at a Sydney pub in 1991. An elderly pensioner has smashed a $100,000 Porsche into a lift at a Gold Coast apartment block. It was being driven by an 80-year-old woman resident. As bad luck would have it, the car crashed at exactly the same time the lift was passing the parking level. The passengers inside say they heard a huge bang and had no idea what had happened. They were trapped for 15 minutes. Nobody was seriously hurt. The worst injury was to the car driver's insurance policy. Still to come, NASA bombs the moon, the crucial mission for an extraordinary plan. And what a croc, the snappy reptile that's moved into a family pond.
Wilma, I'm home!
6:30 Saturday, the Stone Age cartoon classic comes to life.
I'm only one man. Not from the back.
The Flintstones, 6:30 Saturday on 10.
You won't be able to resist Red Rooster's Mediterranean skin-free fillets.
I told you I would. Yes, son.
Now with salad or chips.
Hey, that's mine. What are you doing?
Sorry, it's a 5-second rule.
The 5 seconds?
Yeah, or the unattended food rule. You left your food for 5 seconds, now it's mine. Seriously.
How is that a rule?
Mediterranean skin-free fillets. It's gotta be red.
Pandora brings you a universe of exquisite jewellery. Discover this season's freshest Pandora designs. Life has its moments. Make them unforgettable. Pandora, available at these participating jewellery stores.
Since 1990, the St George Foundation has been building a brighter future for kids in need, giving them a reason to smile.
I love you!
Will you help us to brighten their future?
Whether you watch it for the thrills,
whether you watch it for the action,
whether you watch it for Keanu Reeves.
What do you do? It's one of the best movie classics of all time.
Speed, Saturday on 10.
This is 10's Late News. Samoa has paused to remember the victims of last week's tsunami with a mass funeral service. In a national day of mourning, crowds gathered at the Apia Sports Stadium to watch coffins being driven past and to listen to the names of all 140 victims read out. A wreath was laid for each victim. Then the bodies were laid to rest in a mass grave in the local cemetery, which faces the Pacific Ocean. Every loaf of bread sold in Australia will be given a nutritional boost to help make the nation a little smarter and healthier. And it all comes down to a pinch of special salt.
It sounds like the best thing since sliced bread, fortifying a dietary staple to make us smarter.
Well, it should improve the nation's IQ overall. Children should perform better.
It is now mandatory for bakers to use iodised salt in bread, and there are two good reasons. Iodine is important for brain development and function, particularly in children and pregnant women. Scientists hope the salty solution will reverse Australia's high levels of iodine deficiency.
The lack of iodine is the commonest preventable cause of metal deficiency in our world today.
But you won't be able to taste the change. Food scientists say the flavour and texture of your favourite bread won't alter in the slightest. For people wanting bread without the extra additive, the organic variety is now their only option. And from today, consumers can be more confident that produce labelled organic is exactly that. A new Australian standard has been introduced outlining the minimum requirements to be met by organic food producers. These include absolute restrictions on pesticides, fertilisers and genetically modified products.
At least a consumer can feel more reassured that when they go and buy something, that it is organic.
There are also moves to develop a recognisable Australian standard label for organic products. Emily Rice, 10 News.
In an extraordinary feat, NASA has just bombed the moon to investigate if there's enough ice to supply oxygen and fuel for a moon base. Tonight, a rocket was fired into the lunar surface at 9,000 kilometres per hour, more than 7 times the speed of sound. It was followed by a satellite to record the explosion, so scientists can see if there's enough frozen H2O to unlock hydrogen for power and oxygen for air. The plume of ice was expected to shoot for kilometres into the atmosphere. Well, the market ran out of steam today after an eventful and constructive week. For all the details, let's cross to Tom Petrovsky at ComSec. And Tom, is it simply a question of the market had done all its work for the week and investors simply hung up their boots today?
Yeah, Kathryn, it sounds a little unscientific, but it's a more than reasonable way of looking at it when you consider that at its best levels this morning, the market had risen by about 4.25%. So heading into the weekend, investors saw little value in pushing the market any higher. As far as the various sectors were concerned today, there are only several that finished in positive territory. The best performing groups were the industrial and property stocks. The worst performing sector today was the healthcare stocks. CSL was down by more than 2.5% and Cochlear was down by more than 1.5%. Both of those stocks are running into headwinds that have been created by a rising Aussie dollar. And the strength of the currency is going to gain more prominence as far as investors looking at the bottom lines of companies at the moment. So that's something to be wary of. Telstra shares fell today after the telco voiced opposition to the government's bill proposing the separation of its businesses. The stock fell by more than 2%. Looking ahead to next week, we'll see the release of consumer confidence numbers, an important measure which will gauge the response of consumers to this week's rate rise. And on a similar theme, the Governor of the Reserve Bank, Glenn Stevens, will be making a speech. And as always, the markets will be looking for a little more colour on the future for interest rates.
OK, thanks for the update, Tom. A check of the markets in more detail now. And despite a firm start, the All Ords closed in the red. Telstra shares shed 1.5%. BH Pillaton was also weaker and the health stocks lost ground. On the currency front, the Australian dollar is sitting at 90.4 US cents and 56 British pence. After surging to 1,061 US dollars an ounce, gold lost some ground today. Oil is firmer. It's trading at 69 US dollars a barrel. A rogue saltwater crocodile has made itself a home in a North Queensland backyard. Despite being more than a metre long, his new neighbours are happy for him to stay.
North Queenslanders are used to seeing crocodiles, just not this close to home.
You get in the boat and go fishing, you expect to see a croc every now and again, but you know, not in your backyard.
The Keenan family has named this salty Alvin, a 1.2 metre youngster who's taken a liking to their ornamental pond.
Only a small croc, about a metre long. No, bit of a cranky little bugger.
It's likely that during the floods early this year, the crocodile was moved through this storm drain and into suburban Innisfail. Alvin doesn't bother the Keenans, and the Keenans definitely don't bother him.
Only a little fella. You know, give you a few stitches maybe, but you know, and a bit of a nasty bite, but he's not gonna rip me bloody leg off or nothing like that.
But the chooks in Bill's neighbour's yard might be another matter.
My dog would be stupid enough to go and have a go at it. In which case he's on his own.
Crocodile catchers visited the Keenans' property this morning. There's no sign of Alvin. That doesn't mean he's not there.
I mean, people have got to be mindful of the area that we do live in, and we are moving into their backyard, so obviously it's quite easy for them to end up in ours.
So it's live and let live for the Keenans and their dangerous squatter, for as long as Alvin behaves himself.
We might have to have a barbecue.
In North Queensland, Matt Neagle, 10 News.
Next, old gold. Athletes over a century old gear up for Australia's World Masters Games.
I just want more and more of you because you're amazing.
7:30 Sunday, a massive night of Idol kicks off with a performance by Harry Connick Jr.
And your top 7 go head-to-head live.
Hey, check out Tarzan.
Yeah, apparently his backyard's a jungle after winter. So for spring he's getting the D-handle garden tools at $6.90 each.
That'll keep Jane happy.
Your local home timber and hardware. The proper hardware store.
For your chance to win on Deal or No Deal, just buy the new $5 Deal or No Deal Instant Scratchy and you could win $100,000!
Try a fancy new Angus burger at Macca's and you could win 50,000 big ones, plus $1,000 every day. Grab the code from the box at end of via SMS or go online with the computer. Now that's a little bit fancy.
These ships off the port of Newcastle are a symbol of Australia's prosperity. More than $50 billion worth of coal exports last year, a huge contributor to the budget of New South Wales and the lifeblood of many regional communities. That's why many of us are deeply concerned about the tax on coal mines proposed in the government's CPRS, and it could come into law this November. It will make some of our mines too expensive to run. They'll close and jobs will go with them, but it won't reduce global greenhouse emissions. Because for every tonne of coal we don't export, an extra tonne will be produced overseas, and these ships will just load up somewhere else. The planet gains nothing, but Australians, especially in the regions, will lose a lot. Some their jobs, even their communities. We have to fight climate change, but there are smarter ways than putting people out of work. Please visit this website and see what you can do. Let's cut emissions, not jobs.
Authorised by R. Hillman, Australian Coal Association, Canberra.
A Palestinian zoo has come up with a creative way to replace its zebras lost during the war with Israel. They've hired a professional artist to paint stripes on their donkeys. They did it to keep the younger visitors happy, but only the very young wouldn't be able to figure out that something was not quite right. Well, for 23 years, the Phantom of the Opera has enthralled music lovers. Now, fans will have the chance to see what happens next, with Andrew Lloyd Webber bringing a sequel to the stage.
And years come and years go, time runs dry.
But the Phantom box office will never run dry. After smashing world records for a musical, this is how the Phantom will reappear on stage. 10 years after the Paris Opera, this one is set in New York, when the Phantom and his love Christine meet up again.
Turn your face away from the garish light of day.
It is 23 years since the original musical opened in London. Previous attempts to stage sequels of musicals around the world have simply failed.
Listen to the music of the night.
Despite this, the show's creator says he needed to finish the story, even though he admits this is the biggest challenge he's ever faced.
If Love Never Dies does half as well as the old Phantom, I would be very pleased, because that would be extraordinary.
Only when the show opens in London next March will Lloyd Webber know for sure if love never dies for the Phantom. Nina Nanar, 10 News.
Well, they may not be as sprightly as they once were, but there's no stopping 28,000 athletes here for the World Masters Games. The event was launched in Sydney today by competitors who could put much younger people to shame.
It's a venue normally associated with the fastest, strongest and most elite athletes. These athletes are not as fast or strong as they used to be, commitment though they have in spades. Lawn bowler Reg Truhan, the oldest competitor at 101. Margot Bates, a sprightly 99, is in 5 swimming events and is chasing her 200th gold medal, but she still hates training.
My son keeps me on the ball. I'm in bed sometimes when he calls and he says, come on, you better be up, get your togs and gogs, we're off.
What time's that?
9 o'clock in the morning.
This is the 7th World Masters Games and the largest. 28,000 athletes from 95 countries, 3 times the number who competed at the Sydney Olympics. As you'd expect with so many older competitors, the medical preparation for the next 8 days has been critical. And in fact, there are more chiropractors associated with these games than there have been for any other sporting event. But competing is not the first challenge, that's the long queue to register.
We've been here about an hour and a half.
Organisers say it simply can't be helped.
We're sorry if people have to stand in a queue, but with the size of the event, unfortunately, that is a bit of a reality.
Even with the wait, good humour abounds. Last word goes to Margot, who's penned a special song for those tough coaches who pushed the athletes to get here.
He then hands me a plan. I say I can't, he says you can. And so I try to do my best and do it his way.
Competition begins tomorrow. Eddie Meyer, 10 News.
Well, the weather is next, and then it's Sports Tonight with Rob Canning and Rob. Brendan Favola, officially a Brisbane Lion.
That's right, Kath. The deal's been done. Brisbane pulling off a major coup. Coming up, we'll bring you all of the details.
Baby, the bad, bad thing. I feel like crying.
A bad boy blue becomes a lion to be tamed. The Wallabies rock, throwing the captaincy.
Over the moon to have that opportunity, but then also there's a lot of responsibility goes with that.
And tonight's A-League showdown, it's Sydney versus Melbourne.
Last week, Rove revealed his secret dance that gets him the leaders.
That is why I fell in love with this man.
This week's glamorous lineup is proof that it works. Rove, 9:30 Sunday on 10.
40 Winks Big Bonus Sale. Big bonuses on selected items. See our new spring catalogue or look for the bonus tags in store or online and save. Interest free available. Get a better bet at the 40 Winks Big Bonus Sale. On now.
Feast your eyes on Macca's new Grand Angus. A big juicy slab of genuine Aussie Angus. Not just one slice of cheese, 2 slices. There's loads of that fancy salad. The onion is the purple one. It's Spanish. And if you don't mind, mustard and mayo, all on a snazzy-looking sourdough roll. McDonald's new Grand Angus. It's a great big taste and a little bit fancy.
Rowan is a trainee home entertainment consultant. Steve is a movie guy. Rowan wears a name tag and points to the new releases. Steve has an encyclopedic knowledge of movies. Incluso es consubstitulos. Rowan works for a cookie-cutter entertainment behemoth. Steve works at his local network video store. In a world gone crazy, Network Video, the movie people.
Time now to take a look at the national weather picture, and a high will bring a cold morning and dry day to the southeast inland. The high will maintain cool, showery winds on the New South Wales coast. So the outlook for tomorrow, Saturday, Cairns, a possible shower and a top of 29 degrees. Cloud increasing in Brisbane with a top of 24. There'll be possible showers and a top of 19 degrees in Sydney. The nation's capital, a mostly sunny one, and 15 degrees. Melbourne, sunny and a little warmer there, 19 the top. Hobart, mostly sunny and 15 degrees. Similar conditions in Adelaide, 21 degrees. Perth, a late shower with a top of 21 as well. A beautiful day in Darwin, sunny and 35. Alice Springs, just a touch cooler, sunny and 34 degrees. And that is the latest from 10 News. Sports Tonight with Rob Canning is next. I'm Kathryn Robinson. Thanks for your company tonight. Have a great weekend. Good night.